All right, Steph, thank you so much for that. Starting here, a North York school temporarily closing because of COVID-19. So here's what we know. Toronto Public Health tweeted late last night that it is recommending the temporary dismissal of all school cohorts at St. Francis Xavier Catholic School. This is for an ongoing COVID-19 investigation, adding that it's going to keep the community informed of a reopening date. It is unclear how many cases are linked to the school for children in kindergarten to grade 8. Now, we're going to bring you to a live look at St. Francis. The Catholic School District School Board telling CityNews that testing is right now being finalized. The cases do not appear to be linked with any variants of concern. The board says that they have dismissed the school as a precautionary measure recommended by public health. Again, we don't have a timeline as to when the school is expected to reopen, so do stay with CityNews on this one. All right, a bit of good news here. Toronto has launched its own website and hotline for booking COVID-19 vaccines, and only those classified as high priority can register. So the website, vaccineto.ca/landing. It includes residents over the age of 80, healthcare workers, and Indigenous adults. The city says the website, it is temporary until the province launches its own booking system, which is supposed to happen later this month. So far, just over 200,000 Toronto residents have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. And we are standing by live right now outside of the Metro Toronto Convention Centre, and this is one of 3 mass immunization clinics opening up in our city next week. The city says a combination of Moderna and Pfizer vaccinations will begin for high-priority residents March the 17th as that supply ramps up. The 2 other mass vaccination clinics are set up at Scarborough Town Centre and Toronto Congress Centre, and the clinics are expected to run 7 days a week from 11 in the morning until 8 at night. Let's get to Peel Region now, partnering with the GTAA and the International Centre in Mississauga to open up a large-scale vaccination centre there. Now, the conference hall inside the Airport Road location, it is going to turn into a clinic over the coming weeks as the province ramps up the distribution for these vaccines. And the goal here is to vaccinate 75% of Peel Region's population as quickly as possible. The International Centre is operated in part by the GTAA. Now let's take you to Durham Region, where vaccinations begin this morning for those over the age of 80 at 2 clinics in Clarington and Pickering. These inoculations beginning at 11 this morning. The region also planning to launch mobile vaccination clinics for those who are not able to travel to these larger clinics. More appointments will be available for booking starting this morning at 8 o'clock. And we're going to remind you of the website. It's there on your screen, durhamvaccinebooking.ca. Well, Ontario is in line to receive a record number of vaccines this week, which we know, but it's a race against time as COVID variant infections, well, those continue to climb.
We are seeing quite a significant increase in the number of COVID-19 cases that are screening positive for a variant of concern.
We are in this phase where the model is saying we could be trending back up again.
The highly contagious variants make up almost 30% of all Ontario cases. And that number jumps to 40% when we're talking about just Toronto. The province is expecting 300,000 Pfizer and Moderna vaccines this week. 380 pharmacies in Toronto, Kingston, and Peel should receive 190,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine that's designated for residents aged 60 to 64. And coming up in about 10 minutes' time, I'm going to be talking live with a pharmacist about this vaccine rollout. By the way, she will also be taking some of your questions, so keep that in your pocket right now. This is the least wonderful time of the year for a lot of people. We are talking about tax season, and COVID-19 relief benefits may be adding a bit more confusion to the mix. So we're going to break this one down at 7:20. An expert joining us with tips on how to file your taxes stress-free, if that is even possible. And coming up next, hey, there is no stopping GameStop. Shares rising yet again, but this time it's not just being fueled by Reddit users. And Mike Eppel, he's going to join us to explain why.